Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vivien. Nice to meet you all. I am here to speak about fashion and AI. What does it mean in the new era that it's powered by tech? So to kick off, I like to tell you a bit more about myself. I came from 15 years of experience in luxury fashion, on the business side of fashion, mostly in merchandising and marketing. And I've had a few fashion, like true actually fashion businesses before I dove into the world of tech. So for the past just a little over a year, I have been working on Solaire, which is a Web3 retail tech company. Um, we serve the industry, the consumer sector across fashion, sports, entertainment, and art. Assuming that the consumer themselves actually you can never be a consumer of only one category. Typically, you have a crossover of multiple categories. So we bucket them together into a consumer tech. And what we do is we have a Web3 powered consumer wallet. So with that being said, I know a fair amount about emerging technology, although I'm not an expert in AI, but AI and Web3 and traditional tech actually are very tightly intertwined. And I'll show you why. So if you are a consumer of technology, you're never consuming only one technology. The back-end tech that's powering your experience, your product, typically uses a multitude of different technologies. And if you wanted to layer them or peel them like layers of onion of what is the core, what is on top of that, and what is the most consumer user facing, this is typically the structure. Web3 or blockchain, as we say, which is the backbone of Web3, is merely a data infrastructure. It is the way that data is stored, whether it's in a centralized cloud on your computer's hard drive, or is it on a public ledger called blockchain. So what AI or artificial intelligence, what that does is that it's merely automation following instructions. Prior to AI days, it's about writing algorithm. If you type in, like, it's like your Excel formula. If you type in 1 + 1 = 2, then the computer spits out 2 every time when you type in 1 + 1. AI is what we actually enable computer to say, well, if you follow the same logic, when I type in 2 + 2, it's 4, 3 + 3, it's 3. So what AI that has evolved in recent days is this concept called generative AI. So now instead of learning on its own, following instructions, AI can now create based on the content that we input, whether it's an article, a picture, a drawing, all kinds of things. But AI is nothing without data. And therefore, AI is actually the layer that sits on top of data. In the world of Web3, it will be AI plus blockchain data. That actually, in the world of Web3, AI plus data equals smart contract. Smart contract meaning that a contract that can execute on its own. Not in the world of generative, but it is automation of data. And then on top of that, the most consumer facing is what we call mixed reality, whether it's AR or VR. That is something that we typically see today. So what does that mean for the consumers? The consumers have experienced a lot of change of lifestyle per se. Is that we typically we went from Web 1, which is shopping in person, to Web 2, shopping online. No, actually to Web 1.5, shopping online, and then Web 2 now shopping in communities, which is a social commerce. And now Web 3 is now we are merging the three into one, what we call immersive commerce, whether it's in the form of online e-commerce or it's in the form of virtual store, metaverse, or social media. You will see that the repetition of the same content that is fed to you in different medium. And that is what we call immersive commerce. So typically there are 3 tracks that are driving sustainability, leveraging technology. And we can go through them one by one. The number one is digital asset, e-commerce, and remote culture. So in the world of digital asset, gaming is sort of the leading force in the world of digital assets, where everything got started. the gamers were the ones that start buying virtual gears, virtual equipment, buying virtual blood to revive themselves. And that evolved into virtual fashion, virtual asset, virtual, your avatar, virtual version of yourself. So that layer of itself is now the process of generating these digital asset in the gaming environment, creating that mini version of you that looks and talks just like you, has now been powered and accelerated by the use of AI, as well as the experience that you have in those gaming worlds, because your experience is now also dictated by AI, by your pattern of using, by your choices, by the preference that you set, by your interaction and by your social interaction with your game mates. All of those things now are being personalized and accelerated by the use of AI from the caption of your data. And then the second layer of that is metaverse. Metaverse comes in many different forms. It could be social metaverse, it could be sort of a professional work metaverse, it could be a virtual store, a commerce environment. The point is that now all of this is now also automated and made as realistic as possible by the power of AI, based on real, actual, real living environment. So as well as the asset or the way that the characters carry themselves, the experience that you have in the metaverse. So all of that is powered by the backbone of data, executed by AI, and being presented to you in a multimedia form, whether it's AR or VR. NFT collectible is probably the one that is the closest and the most obvious to all of us, particularly by the concept of AI generated NFT collectibles. Is that now simply by typing a few keywords, AI will be able to generate a few images to your liking that is uniquely to you. That is, you can essentially mint that and turn it into an NFT art. This is obviously a breakthrough in the world of art, in the world of generative AI. However, it's also one of the most controversial use of AI. Is that then what is the value of being a true artist, going to school for many years and be able to do something that the computer can execute based on essentially your content that is out there on the internet. So this is digital asset, and e-commerce is actually probably the most not so obvious, because it's something that we are experiencing every day, and it's something that actually feels less of a shift to you, but the source behind it is actually shifting quite a lot using the power of AI. Number one is content marketing. Typically, let's, for example, say Netflix. Typically, Netflix uses a basic algorithm to learn your preference, to learn your interaction with the content, and be able to give you the most relevant content. And let's not forget that every business is an advertising business. So there are things that they're trying to sell you, the information that they're trying to tell you to the content that you consume on Netflix. Same thing with YouTube, with any content that you consume. But little did you know that they have that the AI algorithm has now been powered to learn every bits of interaction that you have with the screen, along with your interaction outside of the content or the platform environment, to customize the experience that you have consuming these content. It seemed very seamless and seemed natural, and it seemed that you just feel like the algorithm gets you, because that is what's powered by AI. And because of that, now you will be able to exposed to, not only, so in terms of entertainment, you're being exposed to content such as real estate, fashion, lifestyle, everything that you consume. Part of that is advertising dollars that are there trying to sell you the product in a more seamless and organic way. Social commerce is the same thing. Creator created content, but why are certain content being pushed to you specifically? It's the algorithm, but it's now more seamless and more organic because it's done through AI. The AI is learning your taste and your behavior as you evolve as a person, as your personality change. and AI is able to adopt the experience for you to create that stickiness of your experience on that platform in order to help you to consume the most relevant fashion content. And personalization is probably the most obvious out of all three, is that every time when you go into a website, the product that's recommended to you, the AI stylist, the AI product recommendation, all of that is done learning your behavior. And what's interesting is that I think I'm curious to see how Web3 or blockchain data is going to, let's say, better the experience and make it more seamless. Because in the past, in Web 2, the AI is only able to learn your behavior within that platform, which is rather limited. Now, on the world of Web3, with leveraging blockchain, we'll be able to learn your behavior outside of the platform across the internet, and therefore the AI is able to have a more robust portfolio of you as a user and be able to feed you the most relevant content, something that's subconscious that you don't even realize that you are aware of. Last but not the least is the shift in remote culture. That is, again, it's a lifestyle shift that seemed a bit less obvious to most businesses and consumers. But as I go through these three aspects, you'll realize why. Number one is circularity. Sustainability obviously is an issue that everyone's concerned about, is how many new product, new fashion items can we actually consume. And also, brands are shifting their mindset from trying to sell you another new item to how do I capture the resale market? How do I upcycle unsold inventory or sold inventory? And with that, the rising technology of resale and circularity has also empowered this resale market to the next level. What is interesting is that the use of AI in terms of pricing for resale upcycle materials, in terms of sourcing products on the secondary market, and in terms of providing that personalized content to make the resale or the secondary shopping experience as close to primary shopping experience as possible. So leveraging the power of technology, that we are making the resale or circularity shopping experience or the selling experience much more seamless and much more natural to most users. And that is a shift of mindset that is, and also with the rising technology of logistics, so that we're not restricted to shopping vintage only in your local store. Now the world is much bigger. You can shop vintage from the comfort of your home and be able to increase the circularity of the fashion market. And the second one is experience. I think after COVID, a lot of us are becoming much more comfortable being in a virtual environment or staying at home, realizing that we don't have to go out to have social in-person interaction in order to have personal interaction. So the experience that you have, people are putting heavier emphasis on their experience in virtual environments, in digital environments, and therefore the use of digital asset and the use of digital content, and also the emphasis of your experience outside of the real world, is the driving force of the rise of digital fashion. And the technology is what is driving that adoption as well, is that the mixed reality AR, VR experience are now much more realistic, powered by AI, because a lot of these content are generated by AI. For example, a lot of fashion companies now, when you buy a physical garment, you automatically get the digital skin in your preferred environment. You automatically have an avatar that looks just like you in your preferred environment, and you will be able to have the same experience that you were otherwise wearing this physical garment at home in the virtual environments. And last but not least is the rise of digital fashion, which is one of my favorite because I think it's the closest to sort of the everyday life. And I'm using one of my good friends, Tracy's picture here, because she is really a pioneer in the world of virtual jewelry or virtual fashion. So she actually started with selling physical jewelry. And then she quickly pivoted into selling physical and digital jewelry. And now her company is purely digital. This is a much more sustainable way to consume fashion. Imagine, every single physical product has a shelf life, has a life cycle, and things get worn out. But if you can have a digital version of that can be used in practical functions such as Zoom calls, pictures, video calls. So all of those things will extend the life of your physical product. And it makes your life a lot easier in terms of flexibility. You don't have to always carry all of these outfits with you when you travel. When you are at the comfort of your home, logging into Zoom meetings, you don't have to worry about putting up these outfits and being able to dress up in order to look presentable. AR, digital fashion, and even AI. A lot of digital platforms now even have AI makeup function where you can look dressed up without even putting any effort. So those are all technology sort of advancement driven by the remote culture that in a way is helping to promote sustainability, increase circularity. So this is a short one. So my name is Vivien again, and I work at the intersection of fashion and Web3, and with a little bit of AI and tech in there. We also work very closely with AR and VR companies. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. All right, thank you.